are you?
Yeah, good, bro, good. It's been at work, man, doing my thing.
Mate, good on you.
All recovered?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
How long does it take you? Oh, should we just record this, Because
we're recording now.
Sam, how long does it take you to get over something like that? Because I don't know if we were recording before, but we were just chatting.
Well, we are now, but should we give people some context as to...
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, for those listening, we're back with our now good friend Sam Troth, who has just been on a bit of an odyssey raising awareness for child sex abuse and trying to get tougher penalties for offenders, getting signatures for petitions for Parliament. Sam's just walked all the way from Cape Reinga in the north of New Zealand to the Beehive in the south of the North Island to Parliament. And we had a bit of a chat with Sam a few weeks ago before his adventure started, and we're here to hear how it went, how many people he touched, how many signatures were raised, and what sort of reception you had when you got to the Beehive, Sam. It's good to see you. Welcome back. How are the feet?
Cheers, bro. Yeah, the legs are good now. It took a little bit to recover, as Matthew just asked before. I had, is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday? I had 4 days off after I finished the walk, and then I flew back to Australia for work. So I was back at work 5 days later. And that week which was last week, was pretty hard on the hammies, were real sore. And also the calves and the shins. So yeah, the legs were quite sore right now.
Oh, bro, because you motivated me to go walking. I was like, Sam can do it, I can do it. So I charged off down to Carnal on the waterfront. I was like, right, keep the shirt on. I did a bit of stretching and that. So I powered off, right? I was like, yeah, mate, I was walking at a fair clip. And I reckon I walked like maybe 14K tops. It took me about 2 hours or 2.5 hours. But halfway or about 3/4 of the way back, my shins and that, I was just in agony. My knees were sore. It's like everything was creaking and banging. I was like, holy. And I was walking for 2 hours. And you guys are walking for 10 hours a day. I would have committed to it. I know we can't talk about that. But that's one of the few times you can probably say, yeah, well, fair enough, mate.
Would have done me a favour.
Holy hell. Oh, all of us.
Mate, how did it go, Sam? Because we obviously kept in touch with you in part along the way. And, apart from the walk itself, which physically was grueling, like you were stopping and meeting and speaking to people all along the journey, right? So how was that side of it?
Oh, that was awesome, bro. And it's always really one of the coolest things is connecting with people. Obviously they'll see me on social media, or they'll hear about it, whatever. And they actually take time out of their day and come and find me on the road, and they'll bring a cold drink and bring their story with them as well, bro, which is, because they're just random strangers. We're just strangers, other than they see my face on the internet and I see their little profile pic and their name when they're commenting and stuff. We're strangers, and they trust me to sort of come out and stand on the side of the road in the middle of the day and sort of disclose their deepest, darkest secrets or their deepest, darkest traumas, which is it's a real privilege, bro. It's a real privilege.
Yeah.
That we had multiple women come and walk with us. I met with a guy while I was in Auckland, and we actually went to a cafe. A mate of mine, he wasn't doing too well. A mate of mine put me on to him, and I gave him a call and said, hey, look, bro, I'm actually in the Auckland region now. I got a day off tomorrow. You want to meet up? We went to a cafe. Long story short, man, this dude just poured everything out. He'd never told anyone any of the stuff that had happened.
Wow.
And got it all off his chest, bro. We were at the cafe for about 3 hours. It was beautiful, bro. It was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, mate, it's just so awesome to hear that, Sam. That's just it's inspirational. You should be it's a wonderful thing for people to be able to open up and speak to you like that. But for you to put the time in and open your heart is there's not many people that do that. And if more people did it, the place would, I know it's a cliche, but the world would be a much better place. But isn't it amazing how much you get from that as well?
Bro. Yeah. That's all of the other stuff aside. I guess ultimately, because I'm trying to create awareness. So that's just like, that's the pat on the back. That's like the boss coming up to you at work and just going, man, you really just did an amazing, that looks amazing. You just did whatever it might be, or you might get feedback on your followers' podcasts and that, and people are blown away by the conversations that you're having. And that's what makes it all worth it, I got a message from because obviously in our last recording we touched on, I've been in prison and I was in addiction and all of those things when I was in my late teens and early 20s, and I actually got a message from a police officer that used to deal with me, and he'd actually listened to our podcast, and then he listened to a couple of my other ones, and he sent me this. I'm going to post it up in a week or so, but sent me this beautiful message, and it was just like a real full circle moment. To have this copper that used to play Tom and Jerry with him basically back in the day, and used to be a little shit. Used to give him too much work to do. And him messaging me saying, good on you, and your kids should be proud, and all of this stuff. So it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice, mate. Real nice. So tell us, because you put a lot of effort into it, how many signatures did you pick up along the way?
We got 7,982.
Congratulations. What was the
goal?
Well
done, bro. What was the goal?
The original goal was a couple of thousand. Then I moved the posts to 5,000, and then I pushed them out to 10,000.
So every year it's increasing, though, yeah?
Yeah, well, this is the first year we've done a call to action, so to speak. The other previous walks, I haven't done a petition. So that petition was live for 5 weeks. Almost 8,000 signatures. So I think that sends a pretty clear message to Parliament, and it'll make it through to select committee, and then I'll have to go back down to Parliament and produce evidence, proof of case studies of sexual offenders not getting adequate sentences. And I've already got people, that are following me are already emailing me through from their own personal court cases, and the results and all the relative information I need. So I got another lady who I met through social media on my walk, and she has done a couple of other petitions. So she's going to help me create this one file or one source of data. So when we go to the select committee, we've sort of bang, we can just put it on the table and go, there you go, there's all your evidence.
So do you need as many of those stories as you possibly can, or is it you kind of got what you need?
Nah, I mean, the more the merrier, really. It'd be nice to have 100, maybe 200 scenarios or situations or cases, so to speak. I've got a lot.
People listening to this could email you.
Yes, absolutely, they could. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we'll be able to put a decent amount of data together for the select committee, and hopefully, and then hopefully it can make its way through to the next stage. Which is
what's your email address, Sam, so people can send that to you if they're listening? We'll put a link as well.
That's the road to healing @gmail.com.
The road to healing @gmail.com. Hey, so bro, what was the reception like when you got to Parliament? Did they welcome you? Did anybody come in? What?
Fuck. So what happened was, bro, we sent out 2 weeks in, we sent out 123 emails to all our members of Parliament. From those 123 emails, we received 3 responses. From those 3 responses, we had 1 response that said, yes, they will definitely be there. When we arrived at Parliament in the pouring rain at 10 a.m., security were the only people that came out and greeted us. And no one else, no other politicians came out. We set up our cones as a display to represent because with our rate of child sexual abuse in New Zealand, it works out to be a girl every hour and a boy every other hour. So in a 30-day month, or in the 30-day month that we were walking, it worked out to be 1,080 children, which was how many kilometres we walked. So we had 720 pink sports cones out on the Parliament grass and 360 blue ones to represent the boys and girls. We had signs explaining what they were, and the only thing that happened was security came out and asked if we had permission from the Speaker of the House to do our display. We said we didn't. We explained to him that we'd sent all those emails out. He went back inside. He spoke to the Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House said, fine. They can do their display, their peaceful display, and then they can leave. So we waited 2 hours. We had one of the Deputy Prime Ministers join our Facebook Live because so many people were in the live and tagging politicians saying, where are you? These guys are on your doorstep now. And he joined the live and sat in the live for a little bit and then left. Didn't comment, didn't anything. No contribution.
Didn't even say good day.
No,
What?
he just jumped in. He jumped in because he just jumped in. He jumped in because he was being tagged in it. So obviously he was on his phone.
They greeted you with security like you guys were the common criminals. You, the victims of some of the most horrific abuse imaginable to humanity, were greeted, or not greeted, like you were
you were
filthy
snubbed.
criminals.
You were just snubbed, just brushed under the carpet.
That speaks
the silence,
volumes.
Yeah, deafening, bro. And that's what we had on our signs, you know. Does it have to, the silence is deafening. Your silence is deafening. Does it have to be your child before you will do something about it?
Shame on them.
Yeah, bro.
A lot of them are probably the ones fiddling with their kids. That's the thing, right?
Oh, bro, I just can't believe that people just aren't taking this. Like, it should be the number one priority.
It should be. It should be.
Like, it's just so. It should be the number one priority because it's going to fix the knock-on effect to fixing everything else that's wrong with our society, which is, kids that are abused go on to be problems, right?
Yeah.
And then they become bigger problems, and then they have kids, and then the cycle doesn't get broken. It just seems like common sense. It's like join the dots, guys, right?
Yeah.
And like if our elected members of parliament can't be bothered getting off their dairy ears and coming down and saying, hey, well done, and, just making a little bit of a noise about it. Like, I can understand they're busy and stuff, but I just don't get that. That's just horrendous.
We gave them 2 weeks' notice. You got to remember that these people have got staffers as well, eh? So, I mean, I would have been happy and it would have been just as if they could send out a staffer. You know what I mean? And by staffer, I mean a personal assistant or whatever you want to call them. But they've got teams of 3 or 4. They've got 3 or 4 people at each of their disposal. So they could have sent somebody out. They could have asked us if we wanted a cup of coffee. We were literally in the pouring rain for 2 hours out the front in raincoats.
And here's the thing, Sam. They work for you, the people of New Zealand. That is disgusting.
Yeah.
They're ignoring their bosses.
Bro, that's really sad, mate. That's really sad. But, okay, so we're not going to cry over spilt milk because you can't really change that, but we can make a noise about it, which we're trying to do, obviously. But are we going to make a bigger noise next year? Because I'm going to get into training. I need to get into training, mate. Like, I think I'm going to need an ambulance as well, though.
Well, maybe surgery.
Oh, mate, I'm going to need something, bro. Like, you guys are going to have to carry me down, or like, I'll come run a few miles and stay at a hotel and come rejoin.
Liability.
We could drift you up in your old gears, bro.
Yeah, hard. If I could squeeze into them. Too funny.
But would you do anything differently, Sam? Like, putting signatures, doing what you've done, zero reception. Like, are you banging your head against a wall? And you know what they say about the definition of insanity. Like, is there another avenue? Is there another way? Have you workshopped that with your colleagues and your friends and fellow survivors?
Yeah, like, I mean, like, I've got to think it's got to be something more radical. There needs to be something more extreme. There's a radical factor to it. I don't know. There's got to be something does need to change, though. We do need to try and shift tact, do something a little bit differently. I don't know what that is or how that looks. I've got a few ideas in my head. Yeah, I think I would definitely have gone more aggressive for like the month leading up. I was posting reasonably regular, but I'd only done a few videos. And then when I was actually doing the walk, I was active doing 5-10 posts a day, doing multiple lives a day. I think the next one, I will do that to create the hype before the event starts because just so more people know, it needs to be more extreme. It needs to be at a level where people cannot ignore it.
Yeah.
Whether that's we walk non-stop, whether we walk, like there's something, you know what I mean? Whether we go,
mate, I'm out.
Bleeding.
I'm out, mate. There's no way we're walking non-stop.
Got to be something. There's got to be something.
I know, bro. Like, I'm not making light of it, but I don't know what you can do. But, I was saying to David the other day, it's like, it kind of like, and I feel terrible saying this, but, they sweep everything under the carpet. Even if you got 50,000 signatures or 60 or 70, I mean, sure, you obviously get a motion to go through Parliament, which would be amazing. But the noise around it, they just ignore it, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as there's no noise, it's like, okay, that's that one gone. It's almost like the longer it takes, the less reaction you have to it, the longer it drags on, then it just pitters out. And if you're not making a big song and dance about it, people just forget about it. Well, and they certainly do, right? So it's, unless we get New Zealand on board and people like, it's like a telethon. It's almost like you need a telethon for it.
My mate suggested, and what he wanted to do was he wanted to do a live-a-thon. So he wanted me to go live for like 5 or 6 hours, and in that, or even 2 or 3 hours, but in that time, have influencers and other people with followings coming in for 10 or 15 minutes. And he was thinking big, and he was thinking, shit, you could have companies doing giveaways. But you're dead right. You need a telethon.
It's got to be. It's got to have a call to action that everybody gets into it, and because people just don't know. That's the thing. Nobody knows about the information. All the information that you have, which is statistics. I'm pretty sure that if you got that out into the mainstream, even though it has been in the mainstream, but it just gets washed out, people would be shocked.
Yeah, it's outrage, more outrage that is needed and warranted. And we were chatting yesterday to a guy, and we were talking about the fact that either people don't know about it, or the fact is that the subject matter is so taboo, they can't even begin to sort of like unwrap it in their heads or process it. So it's easier to park it and pretend it doesn't exist. But I think, like with all things, ignorance and misunderstanding breeds fear. So the more it's normalized in conversations like the ones you have with people on a daily basis through your platforms, the little bit that we do as well, the more people are used to hearing about it, even at the degree to which abuse happens. Like we were talking to a woman in the UK the other day, and she was telling us about the abuse and what warranted it, and not intimate details, but people need to become familiar with it and used to hearing about it, and then they're not going to turn away in disgust or repulsion or whatever. That's when things will change, when it becomes more normal. Because it is normal. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's so normal, it's ridiculous.
Why aren't we talking about it?
There was just an article in the Herald the other day, and the latest study has come out, and we in New Zealand, we have higher rates of sexual assault against teenagers than the UK and the United States. Our statistics now have switched down, and it was 1 in 6 boys. It is now 1 in 5 boys. That's from the latest study.
Wow.
So like things are getting worse. Things are getting worse, but that's not getting any airtime. That they put that post up, or they put that article up. That should be on the news,
on the front page. But it should be on the front page.
It should be on the 7 Sharp or whatever afterwards. It should be on 60 Minutes. It should be. It is an epidemic. It is an epidemic.
Yeah, you're dead right. It is, bro.
And I don't think a lot of people, because I've only learned it through our conversation with you and since others, I don't know about Matthew, but people aren't making the connection because we're not being educated that the abuse, the flow-on effect to society, not only for these people, but those around them, the families, but also the rates of incarceration, the rates of suicide, crime, drug abuse, the amount of, government is essentially driven by money and cost, right? The amount of money that it costs a country is insane. Maybe that's the thread. I don't know, but people don't realize, you're abused, and people think, you either you get over it, you don't. Well, that's not how it works. It's like, you tell us the amount of people in prison who have been sexually abused, the amount of people in gangs who have been sexually abused, the amount of people who are in rehab who commit suicide who have been sexually abused. There is a common thread there.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like we've got poison in the water and we're ignoring it.
Yeah. The economical cost is huge. Like it's the Royal Commission, for instance, was estimated at $200 billion to put right the wrongs. That's an almost unfathomable amount of money, even for a country to come up with. $200 billion. The economical cost is out of control. The strain on the court system, the prison system, the rehabilitation, addiction, all of those things, the violence, domestic violence. Sexual abuse is a huge precursor to domestic violence as well, bro. Like everything is interlinked.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Look at the cost of it. It's out of control, Yeah. But again, it's just easier for people and that's kind of like if I could have been as raw and honest as I want to on my platform and stuff, and I'll be raw and honest with you guys, no one gives a fuck. That's how it feels, is no one gives a fuck. Like we were for 30 days. We're walking upwards of 50 kilometers a day. We're walking through 2 cyclones. We were fucking walking over massive, there's a pissing down with the rain, massive trucks coming towards you, all the fucking shit. Exhausted, mentally, physically, emotionally drained. We walked all the way to our apartment building and no one came out. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah. I know, bro. I absolutely know. And I'm not joking when I say this, the 12Ks or the 15Ks that I flip and walked, right? Like the pain, right? And so imagine the disappointment that after all that effort and all that, like the physical effort, the mental effort, the just everything that goes into doing something like that, and then to be just snubbed. Like,
right.
Just
like you're a zero.
Like you mean
that's how
nothing.
they treated you. Like
and it's
you're
not like you're asking.
zero.
It's not like you're asking for, hey, you're not coming down and, hey, it's me, I'm Sam here. Hey, I want a fanfare. You're coming down to like rescue New Zealand's children.
Yeah,
right?
I just wanted the opportunity to hand that petition over, even though it was in digital form. I wanted an opportunity, someone to receive us, someone to tell for me to face-to-face explain what the cones were, what they represented, where we'd walked from, what we'd walked through. All of this aside, there was a financial cost as well, bro. Like I took 5 weeks off work, 6 weeks off work. It cost me $9,000 to do the walk, and we did it on a budget as well. And we had lots of people donating stuff, but it still cost about $9,000, bro. I missed out on about 20 grand worth of earnings because I'm not over here doing my work. The sacrifices are huge, and then to not even be received at Parliament, it's frustrating.
And you know what they're saying, Sam? Essentially, when it comes down to it, they're saying your pain and the pain of children out there now or adults who have gone through it, your pain does not matter.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. Well, we need to come up with a better way to make some more noise and make them realise, because, the suffering that's going on a daily basis is just horrendous. So, mate, all I can say to you, Sam, is like, don't give up. We got to keep going. No way. Got to keep running. You're like bashing your head against that wall, mate. Just make sure you got pads, helmets. You name it. Couple of spare pair of legs, arms.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, you do, mate.
Yeah,
I tell you.
Talking nonsense.
No, you fucking do, mate. Like, bro, I've walked 15Ks at a clip. Right?
We've heard about your odyssey, Matthew.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I can't believe that he's walked like 50Ks a day. Like, I couldn't even hold a candle to you, mate. Like, on this rugby league guy. Yeah, like, mate, I was embarrassed. I got to my car and I was like, oh, fuck. Oh. And then for days, my shin bone, I'd get out of bed. I was like, oh. It took me about an hour to warm up in the mornings, mate. Remember, I was whingy like a beer.
Here's a message so you can empathise with Sam. Your pain does not matter.
I know. Sorry, mate. Hey, bro, we love you. We love you. We're there for you all the time, mate.
I appreciate you
all the time, mate. You're never far from our thoughts.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you guys getting behind it and using your platform to help spread this awareness. And I've noticed that there's been a bit of a trend with you've had a couple of really good guests on, and I appreciate that you're having these real chats and giving people the opportunity to and a platform to express what's really going on out there. And it means a lot, because a lot of podcasts, especially in New Zealand, bro, they like to just sit on the surface, or you've got to have 500,000 followers for them to want you on their show, or you've got to be a celebrity. So I really appreciate you guys too, man. It means a lot.
No worries, mate. Yeah, what was I going to say? Is because it's quite interesting, Like, these topics are hard to talk about, and they're not fun, and they're not light, and they're not this, and they're not that. But if we don't have these conversations, like, what's the point? Like, okay, I realise people want to be entertained and they want to have a bit of a laugh and all that sort of stuff, but like, we've got to talk about this shit. It's got to be put out there. It's got to be faced. We've got to face it, and we just got, as a society, we've got to go, hey, enough's enough, right? And we've got to keep bashing away and saying, hey, I know it's not pleasant to listen to, but shut up and listen, and then do something about it.
Yeah. Wake up, everyone.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah, mate. We love you, bro.
Get to bed.
Love you too, man. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day or evening or whatever.
Hang on, was that a hey?
No, it wasn't. Okay.
Hey!
Bad way to end. Okay. Love you both. See you soon.
See you then, brothers. Cheers.